What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy, Niner Sickness. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's doing good. Good on a Monday night. How's everybody doing? I am accompanied by my two sidekicks tonight. We have Florida Mike on board, and we also have Mr. E-Man himself. That's a lot to talk about. We're going to continue discussions that we had on Friday, so if you are watching Friday, you're going to be able to get some more information tonight. If you weren't, then you missed out. But let me bring one at a time. What's up, Tom? What's up, Sack? What's up, E-Man? How you doing, Florida Mike? Sorry,
Hey, I'm
wrong one.
I'm I'm ready, man. I'm lit. I'm doing great. Let's get this show started.
Awesome. All right. Well, so much for. Hold on, guys. So much for those. I got to redo those. Anyway,
It's all good.
little bit of technical difficulty. You were me there for a second. How you doing, E-Man?
Hey, what's up? How's everybody doing? Hello, Tom. What's up, Zach?
You ready to talk some
Thomas.
49er football? Did you guys I'm not going to show the video, but did you guys get a chance to watch a little bit of the Cal Shannahan John Lynch 12:30 conference they had today? Mike or Eric or either one. What's up,
No, I was
Dina?
busy.
It's a pretty
Nah,
much.
I haven't watched it.
Did you watch it, Mike?
No, I haven't watched it. To be honest, I stay away from. I only watch our show. I don't watch nothing, man.
But
I
that was
stay away from.
Shanahan though. I'm talking about Shanahan and Lynch.
Like I said, I stay away from all media. I don't give a damn who it is. I watch our show until the draft. So
I mean, you stay
I'll
with,
probably.
but that's a general
Go ahead.
manager. You don't watch them either.
Not through certain networks because I feel like networks will show snippets of people and they don't show the entire context of things. If it's something, if it's an entire interview,
Yeah,
I'll, I'll be
it's
I'll
the
be
whole
watching
thing
the
through
website.
San Francisco the website, through the actual San Francisco website. It was the whole 39 minutes of it.
Okay, you know the only time I'll watch networks or whatnot or any type of social media whatever is when the guys are actually talking. Before they talked today and took the podium or whatever they spoke recently, I guarantee you, majority of the things were just speculations the entire months leading up. So once they finally talk, I am willing to listen to that because it's coming from the actual source this time and not speculation. So
Correct.
like I said, that's what I love about our show. We don't sit here and speculate. We do talk and have fun, and we make our critiques based upon our views. But we're not going to sit here and do what these other lame shows do and speculate and come up with rumors. One day everybody wants Matthew Stafford, another day they want Carson Wentz. Then all of a sudden they want Deshaun Watson. Now nobody's talking about Deshaun Watson. Now it's Zach Wilson. Now it's yeah, man. I don't. I'm good with that. I watch it out of the sources though.
Right on. Give me one
I
second.
haven't had a chance to watch.
Go
Haven't
ahead.
had a chance to watch it, but I mean, anything and everything that our coaches are gonna say is just going to project what they want to the media, what they want the media to know. It's not necessarily going to be unfiltered and okay, this is an inside scoop on the San Francisco 49er organization. This is really what's happening behind closed doors. No, this is not. That's not the kind of talk you're going to get from a GM or a coach perspective. Like they're not going to tell you everything that's going behind closed doors. I do know that Jimmy does know that we're drafting a quarterback, obviously, but he seems to be okay with that. He has no choice. He's under contract.
Well said. Well
We should.
said.
Absolutely.
So that's pretty much it. I mean, Jimmy's going to ride the boat. He knows that he has a chance to start in this season, so he's going to be moving forward this year. The kid that we draft is going to sit behind him, learn and prosper, soak in all that information, possibly make a start the next year or the year after.
Right on. Great statement, E man. And I feel the same way. That's why I originally said I don't really care for watching that much. I mean, I'll watch it because it's coming from them, but I'm not really caring as much either because, like E man eloquently quoted, they're not going to tell you anything at this point. They've been tight-lipped as they should be. They're going to tell you what you want to hear, the basic stuff, and it's going to make you want to thirst for more because you're like, hey, well, what does this mean? Is this? Is that? So I'll reserve all that until draft. Until then, I'm focused on our show and what we got to say. Damn it! And big shout
Yeah,
out to
because the
everybody
media,
tuning in.
the media is going to say, "Oh, well, Kyle Shanahan was out there throwing passes with Justin Fields, so that must mean that they're going to draft Justin Fields." No,
Right.
that doesn't mean
Exactly.
shit.
Right.
It just means that they
Exactly.
were playing
So,
catch.
hey, big shout out to all our fans, man. We appreciate y'all rocking with us. I got my boy G Potts coming on later on. He was on the show Friday, a guy down here in Orlando. So when he comes on, man, big shout out to him. And I want to give a quick shout out to the Niner England chapter. You know, the UK 49er fans. Big shout out to you guys, man. So I'm going to be posting in you guys' Facebook group. So hopefully you guys watch this segment because I am giving you a shout out and the Orlando Niner chapter. Of course, the German chapter, got to represent, and all the Niner fans worldwide, all the way in California as well.
I'll give a shout out to the Red River Empire here in Louisiana.
Hey, there we go. Louisiana Niner faithful. Big shout out to you guys as well. We're all one family.
Representing. I'm just posting these real quick, our lives on different groups. So
Cool, man.
yeah, so if you guys wanna
Take your time. Take your time, man. Let me get this off, man. So we ended on a hot thing on Friday evening, and we had to come around, and I respectfully stood solo in my critique of Jimmy Garoppolo not being a top 10 quarterback in 2019 season, and I'll stand on that. So I was asked to provide a list, and I have a list of 10 quarterbacks in 2019 that I feel was better than Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, before I read this list, this is not in any order. Okay. So whoever I say from first to last doesn't mean I think they're the best. It's just 10 off the top of my head that I came up with. And I also want to say that I'm not down in Jimmy Garoppolo. I think he is a good quarterback, but I don't think he is a top 10 quarterback. I consider top 10 elite. I think Jimmy Garoppolo is right outside of the elite category. I think he's a good quarterback. He's a very good game manager, but he's not in the elite. And that's just my humble opinion. If you ain't even the best in your division, I don't see how you could be considered one of the elites. So, but I
Question,
guess we'll
Mike.
get started off. Yeah, go ahead, you man.
Question: Is this based on a regular season or is this postseason? What are you basing your argument on?
Well, I wouldn't base it on postseason because some of the guys on my list didn't make the postseason. So I'm basing this on overall everything. I mean, regular season to me is interpreted based on individual because some people value stats. I don't value stats. I think stats
Okay,
are just numbers. Yeah,
so
this
this
is
would be
just
just strictly regular season then, and basing it on the 2019 season alone, not the playoffs.
well, I mean,
Which the
again,
playoffs, Jimmy kind of fell off.
my list is compiled of everything all in one. So playoffs don't really tip the scale for me personally. It's just a small aspect, but again, a lot of people on my list didn't make the playoffs. Some people on my list didn't even make the playoffs. But at the end of the day, I feel like as a quarterback, I'm looking at individual ability. It's what I'm focused on more than anything as they played in the season. Some guys might have not played as many games as Garoppolo, but I still feel like, hey, they are better than Jimmy G. I think Jimmy G is a good game manager. I've always said that on this show. If you go back to earlier segments about Garoppolo that we've had on the show, I wish we had a number show, but I could tell you, I can't tell you which episode, but I've said that he's a game manager, and I'll continue to say that. He's a good quarterback, not knocking him. But if we had one of these 10 on our team, could be better, or, I think any one of these 10 are better than him. It's just my humble opinion. I think he's between
Okay.
11 and 15. You can put him wherever you want. You know what I mean? He could be number 11 right outside the top 10. I'm okay with that. But top 10, nah. So let's get into it, man. All right. So number one, I'm gonna go with Lamar Jackson. Again, this is not in any order. I'm gonna say Lamar Jackson. Number two, I'm gonna say Patrick Mahomes. Number three, I'm gonna say Russell Wilson. Number four, I'm gonna say Drew Brees. Now I get Drew Brees didn't play as many games as Garoppolo, but is he not better than him? You tell me. I don't think it's close. I don't think it's an argument. I think Drew Brees is better than Garoppolo. So number five will be Deshaun Watson. Number six, Aaron Rodgers. Number seven, Matthew Stafford. Number eight, Dak Prescott. Number nine, I know his season wasn't great, but he's Tom Brady. You know, Say what you want, Tom Brady, might have not had a better individual season, but he didn't have a better team than Garoppolo either. So again, this is about an overall ability, individual ability for me in the season. And number 10, it was a toss up. I went back and forth, but I'm gonna go Matt Ryan.
It's not a bad list.
Yeah, and this is based on 2019 overall individual ability. If you would have asked me um, about, I can't say the list would have been too much different. The Matt Ryan got thrown in there, but you know, I felt like when we played the Falcons, again, this is one game. I don't want to isolate it to one game. Um, I certainly was going to put Ben Roethlisberger in there, but I went with Matt Ryan because I felt like that year he actually had his team didn't play well, but that year he had some games, man, where he did some good things. Um, Ben Roethlisberger overall, I think is better than Matt Ryan. But if we're just talking about strictly 2019, yes, you'd I left some people off. I had Phillip Rivers. I actually had Phillip Rivers before the show started, and I last minute changed it to Matt Ryan. So I probably could have kept Phillip Rivers on the list, but oh well. But I'll stick with it. And Matt Ryan, Phillip Rivers, interchangeable, don't matter. Either way, both of them can be considered better than Garoppolo, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, I mean it's whichever way you want to really look at it. Or the only argument I would say for sakes of Matt Ryan would be that there were certain aspects that I thought Jimmy was a little bit better than Matt, but it was kind of a down year for Matt Ryan in
You know why I
2019.
put Matt Ryan in there? Because that I guess this is just my pissed off moment. My emotion probably put Matt Ryan in there because Phillip Rivers and Ben Roethlisberger deserve to be over there than Matt Ryan. And I know this. Again, if I showed you my original list, I could have showed you. I made two lists. My original list had Phillip Rivers and Ben Roethlisberger on there. I put Matt Ryan on there though because I want to cause controversy tonight. And the reason being is we lost to Matt Ryan in the season, right? Garoppolo played that game. And now I'm not blaming Garoppolo. We had turnovers, we did some stupid stuff, but I felt if the shoes were reversed, I don't know that Garoppolo would have led that Atlanta Falcons team against us as opposed to Matt Ryan playing with San Francisco. Um, Granted, we had some secondary injuries. Granted, we had some injuries on our side, but I still feel like we should have won that game. And I felt like Garoppolo, if he was better, he could have led us, to that victory. Again, I'm not blaming him, but it's no way in hell we should have lost to the Falcons. And I mean, you know, that one game that we lost, it pissed me off that week because I have a lot of family that's Falcon fans. So that game stuck out to me. So I guess the emotional part of me put in Matt Ryan. But um, again, you can go Phillip Rivers, Ben Roethlisberger easily over Matt Ryan. And I know that. I just wanted to put that for the show because I just wanted the fans to understand where I'm coming from when I felt like, the difference between the Falcons and 49ers win and loss, despite all the mistakes as a team that we made. I would have liked to see Garoppolo finish that game. I felt like he started good, but as the game went on, there were some plays and there were some things we had to go to the run game, whereas Matt Ryan executed. You know what I mean? And
I'll tell you a player that I put above Matt Ryan in 2019, and that was actually Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins had a great
yeah,
2019 campaign, um, as did I mean, no knock against Matt Ryan. He had a decent year. Ben Roethlisberger was out of the question. He was hurt.
right.
And Philip Rivers had a decent season too,
I mean,
but
Kyler Murray
he's
didn't
been
do
heavily
too,
dependent
do
on.
too shabby either, for coming in. I don't think Kyler Murray had a horrendous 2019 himself, but that Atlanta game pissed me off, so that's why I put Matt Ryan in my final list,
Yeah,
just to drive it in because of the fact that I felt Garoppolo should have outperformed him, and I felt like Matt Ryan did enough to win. That there was a slight edge that Matt Ryan had, and it showed.
yeah. if we were basing, if it was stat based, I mean, just granted, stat based. If it was based on quarterback efficiency, third, fourth down, then Kirk Cousins and Jimmy Garoppolo would be your top quarterbacks on this list because they were very efficient in 2019 on third and fourth down. Also, deep ball. Um, can't find two better quarterbacks that did it better um, in that year. But overall, I mean, people look at yards, they look at completions, attempts, touchdowns, interceptions. They don't look at the overall aspect of moving the chains. Jimmy attempted 20. He was 29th in the league in attempts in 2019. So we didn't. He didn't throw the ball as much as everybody else. He still had quite a bit of yards, touchdowns, and yeah, he was eighth in picks, but and turnovers were pretty bad. But our defense was stellar. Probably it would have been if I'm just gonna go by ifs. If D Ford would have stayed healthy the whole year and we kept that stride keeping those players, we probably would have been at a historic defense in 2019. I know during the first 12 games we were on pace. We sacked the quarterback and caused Rex havoc in that front. And I think Aaron Rodgers and Jared Goff had probably two of the worst games in their career against us. Well, Aaron Rodgers twice, sorry.
Yeah,
Because Jared
and
Goff had a
that's
better game the second time around.
right. And the thing is, if we go by statistics, does Garoppolo still make the top 10 in 2019
Yeah.
statistically?
Statistically, if you don't just base it on yards and touchdowns, then yes, he does.
Right, but stats would include yards and touchdowns, right? So statistically, I don't even think he makes the top 10 in 2019.
You can't if you factor in his efficiency on third down and fourth down and his first down conversions, then he would be there. I promise you.
Yeah, but again, I guess if you box those aspects in or factor that in as you mentioned, then it depends on what you value. Because if you value stats across the board, you know, Drew Brees probably played less games than him. I think Brees had some injuries. Did he outperform him
He broke his
statistically as
thumb.
far as yards?
Not during the Saints game, he didn't. Jimmy
Right, not
outperformed him.
not individual game, but we're talking about the season.
Uh, well, they're pass first team, so you can't. He's going to have more pass attempts. So
Right.
yeah, his
So
stats
this
are
is
going to be
why.
padded.
So this proves
That's why
my
you
point.
can't
This is
base
why.
it on yards, and you can't base shit on
Right,
yards and touchdowns
and I agree, and that's why I
because
open up my
Jimmy,
statement.
we're a totally different team than New Orleans is.
Right. And this is why I open up my statement with I don't base numbers. I base individual ability because numbers are deceiving. Numbers don't tell the entire story. So this is why I came up with the list because even now, you guys were just mentioned on this panel about Phillip Rivers, other quarterbacks that could have been in there outside of Matt Ryan. I still heard other quarterbacks. I didn't hear Garoppolo's name. I didn't hear, hey man, Garoppolo should be there. I heard Phillip Rivers. I heard other quarterbacks that maybe Kirk Cousins. So that just tells me if the last spot, Matt Ryan is one people are like, man, Florida Mike, I heard what you said about the Falcon game, whatever, but I would have put Phillip Rivers or I would have put Kirk Cousins. They're still not saying Garoppolo. So my point is proven when we're talking about 2019 season. If we're not going to look at numbers, we're not going to. But if we're going to dismiss numbers, but include third down conversions and first downs and whatnot, we have to look at the total package. And I'm looking at all individual ability. And I mean, there were some games that we sat there and said, "Hey, man, our defense stepped up to the plate." We had some games where our running game exceeded more, and then we had some games where Garoppolo played well at the Saints games. But we also had that horrible Seattle game, the first meeting, and Garoppolo really wasn't playing that great. Now, granted, we had some injuries up front, I believe, but still, that's where you improvise. That's where you make plays, and we didn't see that in Garoppolo. So I can't put
Yeah,
him in the top 10 quarterback. I can't.
I don't know. I don't even know if I mean, just thinking about the season, because I have to think about the 2019 season
Mhm.
because we're just coming off the 2020 year. I'm not even sure if Tom Brady had that great of a season, to be honest with you. I know that,
No, he didn't. He didn't.
but yeah, his athletic ability does put him over the edge of Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, look at last year. If you want another example of that, Jimmy hurt or not, Tom still hit another plateau for being a quarterback. He's not the stage where he was when he first started a career, but he's still an elite quarterback.
That right. That's what I'm getting at. Like Brady as a season individually didn't have a great year by the Brady standards, but it's still Tom Brady. And would you rather have had Tom Brady with our 13-3 team or Garoppolo? That answers the question right there. Most people probably would rather have Tom Brady, considering if he was on our team, hey, that could be the difference in the Super Bowl right there. I mean, the man
You
just won
know,
with Tampa Bay.
I was looking at this earlier, and I mean, thinking about this earlier today, and I was like, truthfully, if you look at the position we were in the last two Super Bowls, quarterback play has really dictated our Super Bowls. Jimmy played a good 3 quarters in the Super Bowl against Kansas City. Kaepernick not so hot. I don't think it was quarterback play that ultimately resulted in us losing those games. I think that our defense didn't just. It was well. I don't want to use any excuses for either one of them, but there was a lot of nonchalant things going on that weren't called. Definitely towards the last end of that Kansas City game, and then in the Baltimore game, obviously like plain as daylight on the last couple of plays. But to we shouldn't be put ourselves in a position to where we have to rely on a comeback. We should be able to close out games, and that's one thing that I want us to be able to do going into 2021 is be able to close out these games early, not have to worry about playing from behind. Um, Definitely, if we get started ahead, we're able to dictate how the game goes with our running game. So, yeah, that is one thing that I really hope that we can continue to do.
Yeah, right on. I mean, when you unpack both Super Bowls, to me they obviously had a similar ending, but they had different aspects. For one, it's obvious with the 49ers and Ravens game, we were trailing pretty much the entire game until a late comeback. Whereas the Garoppolo championship, we were up and they made the comeback. And it
And
resulted in a dramatic loss with bad officiating contributing to it, with no calls. So, it's not the end that we wanted, but I think the difference with us winning those Super Bowls would be having a quarterback that can, make those plays consistently when needed. I agree with you. I don't think the quarterback was the reason why we lost. There is no one reason why we lost the Super Bowl because I believe if you do not execute in all three phases of the game, consistently, it will catch up to you and you'll lose when you have a better team. So our defense gave up a lot of points. No excuse for that. Fans are going to debate whether we should have ran the ball or not, but the reality is Garoppolo was damn near 90% on completion of his passes. Outside of the big throw to Emmanuel Sanders that was incomplete, had Emmanuel Sanders caught that ball and it was thrown more on cue, nobody would be talking about running the football. So it's the little missed plays that we didn't execute on that contributed, and the defense didn't step up either in the last minutes of the game. So, but that's what happens with the young team, first time head coach going to the Super Bowl in his first 3 years. Now, switching gears for a quick second, we have the number 3 draft pick, and the whole talk since last week has been who are we taking? Is it Lance? Is it Fields? Is it Wilson? Right? And a lot of people are saying if Kyle does not get this right, his career and legacy is on the line. So I'm gonna play the contrary. I'm gonna play the antagonist. I learned that word in senior lit. I had no idea what the hell that meant. I'm going to be the antagonist to a lot of. Yeah, I know now. I'm going to be the antagonist. So let's just say Kyle Shanahan, for the first few years that he's been with the 49ers, he's changed our entire culture, right? He has guys, free agents like Trent Williams, guys that want to come be a part of his organization, his culture, and they want to join his team. Emmanuel Sanders, he came through trade. So when you got San Francisco and you got guys talking about us, we supposedly reportedly hear rumors of Deshaun prior to allegations wants to play for San Francisco as well. So a lot of guys are buying into our brand new culture. But here's the funny thing. With all that he's done, with all that he's gave us, getting us to a Super Bowl in less than 3 years, taking us out of this mud, his career is on the line if he does not make the right quarterback draft pick because he gave up a lot. So my question is, if you're one of those fans that he's taking big risks, you guys wanted risk. You saw the Rams make moves. You saw Arizona make some moves with getting Hopkins recently and getting Watt now. You see the Rams getting Stafford. All these fans that were talking about we need to do something. I'm tired of looking like the same. And then when we finally make a blockbuster trade, now all of a sudden this is pressure. This is, I don't know. This is too risky. Well, hell, you got what you asked for. So if Kyle Shanahan has given us more than not, let's just say he gets a quarterback, but it's not what we need. Are we going to throw away what he did the 3 years and dismiss it? Or are we going to say, hey, man, give him another shot and he can redeem himself after he gets some first-round picks? Just to hear from you guys' perspective.
Real quick, let me chime in there real quick on the on the Kyle Shanahan taking a risk. One of the things that I want to clarify, the last time I checked, Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch are millionaires. They have money. They are not afraid of being fired. Do they want to coach a team? Yes. I don't think they're afraid of being fired. A person like myself, a person like someone that is working 9 to 5, gets fired, they're wary about getting fired. Someone like Kyle and John, they don't worry. We know what they worry about? Winning championships. And they're going to take the calculated risks they need to take to make this team better. They rode with Jimmy. They try to get things going with Jimmy. Jimmy's a good quarterback. He's a serviceable quarterback. You can definitely win with Jimmy. The problem is he's not consistent when it comes to his health. You can't depend on him. You can't go into the season dependent on Jimmy, whether he's going to be able to play or get hurt. So they decided they need to move on. They need a young quarterback. Now, all there's talk about, is it going to be Wilson? Is it going to be Lance? Is it going to be Fields? Is it going to be, what's the other guy's name? Jones? We all have our desire of quarterback that we want them to bring in. But at the end of the day, the ones that are evaluating these quarterbacks is John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan. And I'm going to trust that they're going to make the right decision to bringing in the quarterback they feel gives them the best opportunity to win games. They went ahead and traded from the 12th spot to the 3rd spot almost 4 weeks in advance of the draft. This allows them to really, knowing that now they have the third overall, they can look at these quarterbacks in depth and see which quarterback they feel they're going to go with. I know a lot of people say, well, if they go with Jones, people are going to be upset. Jones is not a bad quarterback. I think it's just the 3rd overall is kind of a high pick for him, but he's not a bad quarterback. Is he mobile? No. Trey Lance has a high ceiling, very good quarterback. I love this kid, but he has improved a lot. He hasn't played a lot. Fields has played for 2 seasons, but they do a lot of RPOs over there. Ohio State's football is based a lot of college type of formations. They don't play a lot of, NFL type. So Sack is going to be gone. If he's available, that'll be something to talk about. But I want to ask you guys, I'm changing the direction, but I want to ask you guys, at the end of the day, do you guys trust that whatever quarterback is drafted on draft day, whether people think that if they go with Jones, it's too high for him. If Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch fall in love with a quarterback, and this quarterback plans out in 2 or 3 years, so we win championships, nobody's going to care how high he got drafted. My point to you, and I'm going to ask Eric first, and then I'll ask Mike. Give me a reason why we should draft the quarterback that you want. Defend it. Like, in other words, if you want Fields, Eric, give everybody watching a reason why they should draft Fields or Lance or Jones in your perspective, and then I'll ask the same question to Mike. So the floor is yours, Eric. Which quarterback do you want, and give us a definitive reason why they should go that route?
The one I like the most is Zach Wilson. But I'm not 100% sure he's going to be there. But if he is there, then he has. I like his footwork. I like the way that he kind of the zipped on his throws. I like some of the throws that he makes as far as a quarterback goes. He reminds me a lot of Stafford playing early, which evaluating Stafford, I don't think Stafford's a bad quarterback at all. I think he's just been held back by a terrible Detroit team. So yeah, when the Rams traded for him, it really.
We're not talking about Stafford, bro. We're talking about the quarterback that is available. I know, but why do you want him?
Well, I mean, he has that. I just looking at his play, and I think that he's definitely got something to work with as far as his pocket presence and his throwing abilities, his footwork. I think he's the real deal.
Okay, very good answer. Before I go to you, Mike, I just want to answer Tom's question. Why would you trade up and move up for Mac? He would probably be there. Listen, in the draft, there's no guarantee. I'm not lobbying for Mac Jones or whatever his name is. I don't want him. But my point being is, there's no certainty in the draft. I'm gonna play a little bit of devil advocate. If John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan fall in love with Jones, and that's the quarterback they want, because they feel that's the quarterback they can win with, why are they going to risk them not getting him? And maybe they fall to 12, maybe they move to 9, maybe they move to 7. They don't get him. If they want a quarterback, whether we agree with them or not, if they covet a quarterback they fall in love with, they're going to do whatever it takes to get them. So a quarterback is never certain that they're going to fall to a certain spot in a draft. Now, with that, just wanted to answer Tom. So my same question to you, Mike. Which quarterback do you think the Niners should get, and why?
Oh man, if you ask me this question tomorrow, I'll probably change my mind. So far I've been on Justin Fields, and I'll tell you why. I don't know enough about any of these quarterbacks to really say who I'm high on. The only quarterback I've ever been high on in the history of the draft for Florida Mike was Deshaun Watson. That to me was a no-brainer. These guys, I don't see any one of them in that caliber outside of Trevor Lawrence. Is the only one, and he's obviously not. We're not in a position to get him. So when it comes to Wilson, Fields, and Lance, Fields, the only reason I slightly like Fields is because I think a lot of people are assuming that he's an Ohio State quarterback. They're not known for putting in quarterbacks producing in the NFL, and the fact that people perceive him as having limited read, when he's going through his progressions. The funny thing is, Justin Fields has a lot of upside that people are minimizing because they're going off of a few bad games he played again, and they're ignoring the games that he had against Clemson where he actually made good reads in that game. If you watch the game, he did very well. He actually outperformed Trevor Lawrence. He got hurt, and the man came back and put on a clinic. So this is that's something that can't be taught. You know what I mean? That's heart. That's grit. And if he gets with Kyle Shanahan can take those flaws and truly make him better. So just because he has that problem now doesn't mean that it's going to be a constant problem. I felt like he's more NFL. I mean, I think he's more ready if Garoppolo got hurt or we don't have Garoppolo right now. Now, here's the thing. is he the quarterback that I truly want? He's the quarterback I feel would be the best immediate answer, assuming Garoppolo probably gets hurt again. But the quarterback that we probably need would be Trey Lance.
Okay. Give me a second real quick.
And I'll give a quick
Go ahead.
synopsis of why Trey Lance. Because Trey Lance, I think, is a better long-term fit for the San Francisco 49ers because he's more of the wild card. He doesn't have a lot of season experience, but he has this high ceiling that it's kind of hard to put a roof on. This kid has all the intangibles that you would want in a quarterback. If Kyle Shanahan gets to mold him as his baby, who knows what this kid can be? I think he will be a boom player, not a bust player, because I have confidence more in Kyle Shanahan than I do Trey Lance's ability. You know, his ability gives me confidence, but Kyle Shanahan in his career has proven time and time he can take quarterbacks that are not super great, top 10 caliber, and make them look better than what they are. He had Matt Ryan looking better than what he is. He was with RG3 for like a season as well, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, he made Garoppolo look pretty decent in the 2019 year when he's healthy in his career in general. So, I mean, you know, he's shown the ability to take, I mean, hell, even Mullins and Beathard, as bad as they played, you know, he had them looking better than if they were with Tom Sula or whoever. He takes quarterbacks and make them produce the best. I don't see why he couldn't do that with any one of these young men, but I think Justin Fields would be a more NFL ready quarterback in year one, but I think Trey Lance will be potentially a better quarterback in the duration of his career based on his intangibles just being flat out better overall. You know, if he can get groomed by Kyle Shanahan the right way.
Yeah, one of the things, E-Man talked about Wilson, you talked about Fields, and I'm going to break down a little bit about Lance and why I like Lance. Now, Trey Lance, out of all of them, is the one with a little bit of least experience in playing, but for me, has the higher ceiling. He has a can of an arm. He's played under center as well, not only shotgun. What I like about Lance is he's able to read defenses. He's able to go through his progressions. He looks at the defenders, which way they cover. He always keeps an eye on the receiver. He's mobile enough to open up the lanes in case a route breaks down. Now, Trey Lance, they can start him year one. I'm pretty sure that Kyle Shanahan can work the offense around him to kind of get him going. But if they do truly decide to keep Jimmy G one more year because they feel that this is a contending team, they can make the playoffs and possibly go to the Super Bowl, Trey Lance makes the perfect sense. Bring him in, do the Alex Patrick Mahomes type of thing, the Aaron Rodgers with Brett Favre, where he sits. Well, that's a little different, but with Alex, like where he sits a year, learns the system, gets the system underneath him, watches Jimmy G, and let's see how far we go this year. Worst case scenario, Jimmy gets hurt. I don't know, 8-9 games in. We can bring in this rookie knowing that he's going to produce way better than Mullins or CJ Beathard. So I'm confident to having that rookie as a backup for 1 year. I've seen about 9 games already, full games of Trey Lance of 2019 season. And I've broken down his film. And I just like the way he does not allow the defense to get to him. He's not afraid. He stands in the pocket. And a lot of people that I've been reading says that if there's a resemblance to an NFL player already, is Josh, what's his name? The guy from the Bills?
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen. And a lot of people say a lot of Deshaun Watson in him, and his mobility to.
Say Russ.
Sorry.
I was going to say Russ Wilson, but
Russell Wilson too. Yeah, and he's not looking to run unless they call run plays. But he's not looking to run. He's looking to get the ball out. And if there's no open receivers, then he'll go ahead and extend the play with his legs. So, and there's nothing wrong with Fields either. I like Fields as well. I'm not talking too much about Wilson because I really feel that Wilson is going to go to the Jets. There's no reason why the Jets wouldn't take him. But Fields, I like him as well. He's a big guy. He stands in the pocket. He's not afraid of getting hit. I just like the potential. If I had to choose between Lance and Fields without Jimmy, then I will go with Fields. But with Jimmy for one whole year, then I would go with Trey Lance. Let him sit there and learn, and then in 2022 unleash him. Get rid of Jimmy and unleash Lance and see what we have. But watching nine games that I watched already, this kid is special. I'm going to start watching a lot of games of Ohio to kind of get a better evaluation of Fields. But I've been watching this kid, man. This kid, you really breaking. I mean, he was a freshman when he came in. He's only a sophomore, not even a junior. And this kid is only 20. Yeah, he's only 20.
I was going to say, I know you've seen the Clemson and Ohio State game.
Oh, yeah. Shut up. I saw that. Yeah.
But no, here's what I was going to say is, I mean, everybody seems to be so keen that Zach Wilson's going to the Jets, but how do you not know that the Jets are thinking the same thing that we are? Is like, okay, what makes Zach Wilson better than Justin Fields or Trey Lance for them? I don't think anything's certain. The only thing that is certain that Trevor Lawrence is a Jacksonville Jaguar. That is for certain.
Is he though?
Like,
is he? Can they just throw a curveball and get Wilson?
No, they're not going to throw a curveball. They pretty much had wives and steak, and they've done fed this guy a ribeye steak, everything else.
For your information, they already signed him to a contract.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah. No, I hear you. Trevor Lawrence is definitely going there. I mean, there's no guarantee. Obviously, we're not the Jets. There's no guaranteed. But let me ask you guys a question. Now, of course, Kyle did not know that Roberts was going to go to the Jets and they were going to be before the Niners. So this is just kind of like here and there. But do you think that Kyle kind of fed Robert Saleh a certain quarterback through the whole knowing that he was going to become a head coach to kind of but that wouldn't work anyway. Never mind.
No.
Just because he would have known that he would have went with the Jets but anyway, back to my actual point. My actual point is the Jets are going to try to move Donald. Now, the only thing I can think of, too, guys, is that the Jets can go with Donald and maybe pick up that tackle, the best tackle. What's his name?
Penei Sewell.
Penei Sewell. Move him to left, and then move the guy they have left now, which they drafted last year, kick him over to right. Now they have two solid tackles protecting Sam Donald. That's a possibility. Do you guys think that they might even trade out, maybe with the Panthers?
No, I think before we made our trade up to 3, I think we already explored the route of moving up even further.
Well, it says that Niners never reached out to the Jets now publicly.
Yeah,
but when you have a relationship with Robert Saleh, and then Joe Douglas has a relationship with John Lynch, you know what I mean? I'm pretty sure, nothing's for certain, but I'm pretty sure that relationship between them, they know something. But even if they go with Sack, I think Kyle Shanahan is in love with one of the 4 quarterbacks that is available. And I'm pretty sure he has his 1, his 2, his 3, and his 4. And regardless of who the Jets takes, I think the quarterback will still be there at 3 that he may take.
I think both quarterback, if the Jets do take a quarterback, then I think both quarterbacks will not start the first game of the regular season. I think Darnold and Jimmy will be the starters.
Yeah, because the longer it takes, the lower the value for Donald is. And the Jets are in the actual same position that the Niners are with their quarterback. They're even in a better position, but they don't have to get rid of Sam Darnold. A lot of people say, well, they have to get rid of him. No, they don't. you're right. They can draft a quarterback like Zach Wilson and keep him on the bench for a year and run with some down and then or trade him during the middle of the year or something. But before the trade line, they don't have to get rid of him, and neither does the Niners get rid of Jimmy. Now, let me ask you guys this. Would it be wise? What is smarter for the Niners to do? And either one of you guys can answer this. Is it wise to let go of Jimmy regardless of who we draft and use that, allocate that money, that $26 million that we're saving from Jimmy, move it over and maybe extend Fred Warner's contract? Or is it wiser to keep Jimmy and allow that young kid to learn for 1 year and then let him take the reins the following year?
I'll let Mike answer that first.
Well, it depends on what you value. Do you value winning a Super Bowl immediately, possibly by making a deep playoff push? Or do you value building for the future and competing for multiple Super Bowls in the next few years to come? Me personally, I think we had the potential to make the playoffs this year with Garoppolo coming back. However, do I feel like we will win the Super Bowl? It has yet to be seen. If you ask me, Florida Mike, what I would rather do, I value winning the damn Super Bowl. I feel like, hey, we're in it to win it. We're not in it, yeah, you got to build for the future. I get it. You got to build through the draft, get some sustained success. But look, we done got balls and moved up to number 3. If we're gonna go in, then let's go in. Let's keep Garoppolo and let's have a great backup quarterback, whoever we pick, and while they're getting groomed, let Garoppolo do his thing. He come back healthy. It's a win-win because if we bring back Garoppolo, the benefit is he has no choice but to excel. Even if he isn't retained in the near future, he wants to go to a team that's going to value him and pay him. So he has to perform. Period. The only thing holding Garoppolo back will be injuries. And if that happens, then we have the best of both worlds. We had a quarterback who was groomed at least a few games to come in and say, okay, I got this. Now, if we don't keep Garoppolo and we trade and we get some draft capital for him, extra draft capital, whether it's this year or for next year or whatever, then that's okay too, because we have the money to roll over and take care of guys like Fred Warner and Bosa, who's coming up. So it's a win-win. But at the end of the day, I value Super Bowl. I want an opportunity to win now. I think this year, I don't give a damn what these pundits and talking heads say. We were 13-3 with Jimmy G. We can go back to the playoffs, and we have an opportunity, a legitimate opportunity to contend for a Super Bowl this year if healthy. I don't see why not. We got the best O-line, one of the top O-line in football if healthy. Period.
You're right. With the addition of Alex Mack, right, Mike, and returning back Trent Williams, real quick. Let me just tell you, returning Trent Williams back with the addition of Alex Mack, having a healthy Debo, having a healthy Brandon Ayuk. We got Juice back. We got Wilson and Raheem back there. Listen, if Jimmy is healthy, we're going to get a quarterback. That's the best part. Who we're going to get, I don't know, but we're going to get a possible future 10-year franchise quarterback sitting in the seat watching Jimmy play. This year, we can go in with the defense that we have. We return pretty much everybody in the defense except Sherman and Akulo, but who cares about Akulo? And we lost what's his name? Solomon, but we brought in the kid from the Rams, Samson, which I think is better. He's not a great player, but he's definitely an upgrade over Solomon. So, and then we brought that big run stopper from the Panthers, Kerr. Big boy is going to sit there and right next to DJ Jones or Javon Kinlaw, and they're not going to be able to run on us. So we just got to build in the draft another safety or another corner. And you're right, Mike. We can win. We can contend this year for a chance to go to the Super Bowl. And I don't know, 9-10 games in, we lose Jimmy for a game or two. Then we bring in the young kid and see what he can do. But I'm more confident having the young kid with his pedigree background being a top 3 pick than going with C.J. Beathard and Mullins. So I want to ask Eric real quick. Eric, can we make the playoffs if we start a rookie and not keep Jimmy?
It's a possibility. I think our chances are a little higher if we start Jimmy, regardless of his injury history, just because he's already groomed and he knows the playbook and those things. But as far as, I mean, you hit the nail on the head when you were talking about the aspects of having that security. If we draft a quarterback to sit behind him, it's not going to be Mullins, it's not going to be Beathard, good, and it's not
Yep.
going to be Rosen. It's going to be somebody that we've handpicked as far as athleticism. Yeah, I'm not saying that we didn't handpick CJ Beathard, but CJ Beathard was always supposed to be the backup solution. He was never meant to be a starter in the NFL.
Correct.
And I say that based on where he was drafted at. They drafted him, like fourth round?
Third. They moved up too. They reached for him, but he should have been lower.
Yeah, I mean, he should have been lower. But, given the fact that we draft this quarterback here, I think that all the signings that we've did this offseason really lead towards the fact that we're in it to win it this year. We're not contributing to throwing a rookie out there and whatever happens. No, our entire secondary, except for Jimmy Ward and Emmanuel Mosley, are on 1-year contracts. So that tells me that, hey, we're trying to see where we're at this year, after this year, and then we'll reevaluate next year. That's where I think we're headed. And if Jimmy happens to go down during the season, then we have that security to fall back on that quarterback. And if he outperforms, if he goes out and balls out, then Jimmy's good as gone. But as far as Jimmy goes, he's got 2 years.
Yeah, well, this year we can't trade. I mean, I know if they want to trade him, they can trade him, but he has no trade clause next year. Like I said, we make a run this year. I mean, I don't know how far we're going to go in the 21 season, but Jimmy does know the playbook. Jimmy does know the offense. If he's healthy and stays healthy, like he did in 2019, I'm pretty sure we can be competitive. Put it that way. We can be competitive in the West, and we can be competitive in the NFC, and whatever happens. Where the chips fall, let them fall. But having the reassurance of having a top 3 quarterback back there learning, it just brings more confidence, even not only to us as fans, but to Kyle Shanahan as well, that he doesn't want Jimmy to get hurt, obviously, but if he does, that this kid is waiting in the wings, ready to go. There's no inspiration with Mullins or CJ. But if you get this guy Lance, if you get Fields or Jones, and I'm not advocating for Jones, okay, but I'm just saying you can't leave him out whether you want to or not. He is part of the discussion. Whatever of those 3 kids they pick up, let them learn behind Jimmy, and then in 22 we let him re-release them and see where we go. So I'm okay with keeping Jimmy. I don't know if that's going to happen, though, depending on what Jimmy's attitude is, if he wants to leave, if he feels like holding the boat for a year and then moving on. But again, a lot of people that want it, and it's funny because people want to keep Jimmy for a year, but they also want to extend Fred Warner's contract. And it can be done, but to me, I just feel that you can allocate that money that you save on Jimmy. But then if you start a rookie, if he learns quick and picks it up, we're in good shape. But if he struggles, then we're going to be hoping to get past this season and get ready for the 22. So it's just a gamble. So,
Yeah.
You know what it is. So do you guys think the Niners should extend Jimmy and get rid of, extend Fred Warner, get rid of Jimmy, or wait on Warner and just keep Jimmy? Mike, I'll ask you first and I'll really quickly answer, and then I'll ask Eric that same question.
Well, I'm going to present another side. So we all talk about Jimmy Garoppolo's injury, but what about other players on the other side of the ball in secondary? You know, those safeties are on 1 year deal and they're known to be injury prone. And we all seen how catastrophic it is when we don't have secondary, especially with our division. Me and Boston Hader off air had talked about this, and we both feel very similar. Our secondary is going to have a lot of holes considering that the injury history there is just as bad as Jimmy Garoppolo. So while they might have not been out as long games, if Garoppolo is healthy but has no secondary, I don't think he's that type of quarterback to make those plays to carry this team. I think he needs a complete team to be highly effective. And because of that, if he's lacking aspects of holes of a team that we don't have depth, it's going to affect that offensive side of the ball. So, even if here's the question: if Jimmy Garoppolo has injury concerns going into the season and he has a history of being hurt, do we not want to possibly get value for him now while his value is probably higher this season than possibly next season? Because we're banking on him being healthy to have high and a good season to have high value next year. But are we confident that he will not get hurt? I don't think we are. So if we're not, do we do that trade now and get max value for him, or do we risk waiting till next year and hoping he stays healthy and have a better season to get maybe some higher value? I don't know how much higher value he will have next year, but we know this year if we trade it now, we can have an additional pick and we have more money to retain Warner and Bosa. So that's the plus side of, not bringing him back. But if we want to go all out for a Super Bowl, and we think he can stay healthy, bring him back.
Yeah. What's up?
Yeah.
Nate says that they can do both. I'm never said they couldn't, but I mean, I'm just saying you can allocate that money if they get rid of Jimmy. But either way, I am confident with Jimmy. I think Jimmy, again, the reason why the Niners moved from 12 to 3 wasn't because Jimmy's not a good quarterback. Jimmy can't win games. It's because we all know they're tired of hoping he doesn't get hurt, and they just can't move forward with a quarterback that gets hurt a lot. So I think this is why they're moving on. But I think in 2021, Jimmy can be very serviceable for us and get us, win us games. How many games we'll have to wait and see. But I'm anxious to see who Kyle Shanahan wants to pick. Now, for those that are watching this video, I just want to give you guys a little bit of let you guys know that don't put your hopes on pro days. Okay, you gotta listen. Pro days ain't nobody rushing the quarterback. Ain't nobody putting nothing on the quarterback. The quarterback is just sitting there in his shorts, throwing the ball around. Yes, you can see the techniques and everything like that. But look, if you really want to fall in love with a quarterback, look at the tape of their college ball. Watch them play college ball and break down the tape. Don't go by pro days. Okay, I don't care how good of a pro day Wilson had the other day. There was nobody in his face. Oh, one guy just walks by with a clipboard and assimilates pressure. That's not football pressure. So if you want to watch, I watched the pro day, but I watched it for just entertaining purposes, not for, oh my God, did you see how he threw the ball? That he's the next Patrick Mahomes. On a pro day, I don't know. I don't know I want to get your thoughts as we're coming to a close about pro days. I mean, really, there's no pressure. Nothing's happening in a pro. I don't know why people emphasize too much. I'll watch it, but not because I'm emphasizing on how much. Like, for example, Kyle Shanahan's going to go to Mac Jones' pro day, and I was discussing this with Nathan, and he brought up an interesting thought. He goes, "What happens if the Niners pull out a Washington Redskins at the time, where they drafted RG3 and then they took Cousins in the third? So maybe they're evaluating Jones. So maybe if he's there in the second round, and they want to go ahead and take him as well because there's no value at the 2 spot." Of who they were covering it. Maybe there's no tackle, there's no safety, there's nobody they want. They can go and get Jones and come out with 2 quarterbacks. I mean, I'm not saying they're going to do that, but they can. And that's something that Nate brought up, and I thought about it. So in other words, you can't emphasize too much because we hear that he's going over. They're going over to watch Jones pro day, and not only that, but if you watch today's conference with Kyle, he said that Ohio State's going to have another pro day after this Tuesdays, where Shanahan's going to be there. So don't put too much emphasis on pro days. Watch it. I'm pretty sure Kyle already knows who he wants. I'm pretty sure that these pro days are not going to be the tipping meter on which direction. It's not like he's like, oh my goodness, I was going to go with Lance, but did you see Jones throw on pro day? Oh, John, we're going after him now. They know who they want. They're just going to go and do the due diligence and watch him throw. But there's no emphasis on that. Do you guys agree with that or disagree? Mike, I'll go with you first real quickly. Pro days, is it something they can change the needle for a coach?
No, not at all. I think pro days don't indicate a damn thing. I think pro days are like combines to me. Neither one of them serve any purpose. There's been players who had terrible combines and players who had great combines, and guys that are terrible in the combine outperformed them by far, not even close. So while pro days, scouts look at some things, maybe some mechanics, footwork, or whatever, that's all fine and dandy. But at this point, is one pro day really going to change what someone has done in their career?
Nope.
No. You've seen game action when all these young men have played in games. So whatever they do or don't do in the pro day, to me, pro day is just extra icing on the cake for some people who want to see little fine details. If they're saying, oh, this guy footwork is better than his, a little bit, I like this, how he has a base when he throws. That's probably all that is. Pro day and combines are the same damn thing to me. So, no, it doesn't do a damn thing. Me personally, I don't know who we're going to pick with that third pick, but I'll say this. Whoever we pick, it's going to be opposite of the playing factor that Kyle Shanahan has been accustomed to coaching. It's going to be an athletic, mobile QB. That's for certain.
Okay, very good. Now, how about you, Eric? What's your thoughts on pro day?
I mean, just seeing how well a quarterback can handle something that's scripted, I guess. I mean, all the way that they run those pro days are just based on a script. They know. When you think of that, you think of coming in, you get the ball first, and there's probably 15 to 20 plays that are already scripted for you. Seeing how well a quarterback can execute as far as the script goes, but outside of that goes, they know their athletic abilities. They don't have to go to these pro days to see their athletic ability. They've already seen that in the games.
Correct.
So I was just going to comment and say that on the Mac Jones thing, I really don't think that that's a viable example for us as far if we don't draft Mac Jones in the first, then I don't think he's going to be there in the second. That's just my thoughts.
No, I don't think he'll be there. I don't think he'll be there either. Nate was just making the point that if he is there for some reason, that maybe that's because a lot of people, including myself, was emphasizing why are they going to watch this kid play in the pro day if they're not interested in Jones? But just because, I mean, how many times have we gone to a dealership to go buy a car, and we leave there without that car, and we go to a different dealership? Just because, I don't know if that's a good analogy or not, but who cares? I'm tired. The point being is, just because you look at this kid Jones doesn't specifically say that that's who they're going to get. But again, I trust the process. I trust that Kyle Shanahan. Listen, the coach is going to get fired. It's going to be him and John Lynch. So they better do the due diligence. They better definitely. I mean, they have 4 weeks to look at all quarterbacks and decide which one they're going to go with. They're going to go ahead and throw the dice with the one they pick, and they're going to put their stamp on it. And if it's a good return, people will be talking about how great a decision it was. If it turns into a terrible pick, then we'll be looking for a new coach and GM probably. But one thing I can say for sure, regardless of who they take and how it turns out, I am glad that they were aggressive enough to go from 12 to 3 in this year's draft with these quarterbacks available to get one. So I give them kudos for that. Nobody knows what the future holds, but I do like the idea that they had balls to pull the trigger and move up and give two number ones, two future number ones, and a third next year. Kudos to them. Now, if they get the right quarterback, even better. If they don't, people are going to talk because people talk, but I like the idea that they were aggressive. What's your thoughts on them being aggressive? Because a lot of people are saying that this moving up from 12 to, for going 9 spots, they paid too much. But if they get the quarterback they want, and we have our future quarterback, I don't think it's enough what they paid. Thoughts?
Well, I mean, granted, that's the going rate for a quarterback nowadays. It seems if you want to trade up and try to get a franchise quarterback, is multiple number one picks. However, I think the situations. I mean, regardless if we take who we take a quarterback, looking at the standards right now is we want Jimmy Garoppolo to perform and stay healthy. If he's able to do that and he goes out and wins a Super Bowl, ain't nobody going to be talking about that number 3 pick. They're going to be like, "Damn, Jimmy won a Super Bowl." That, I mean, granted, that's not something. I mean, granted, as a fan, that's what we would want. But then, where you at next year, where Jimmy won a Super Bowl and you got this number 3 pick, then you're like, what do I do?
Yeah. What's your thoughts, Mike? As we come to a close, we're a little bit past the hour.
I personally love the move overall. Granted, we don't know who the hell we're picking. If we got somebody that most fans probably don't desire, they kid from Bama, then they won't love the pick as much. But the reality is, it's for me, it's the intention behind the pick. I love the fact that Kyle Shanahan is bold enough to say, I am going to go outside of the comfort zone this year. I am tired of being strategic in building
Yes.
brick by brick. I'm going to build brick by brick, but I'm going to put and expedite the process now.
I'm going to bring a
So
bulldozer and dump a bunch of bricks. Gotcha.
yeah, he's still aiming for long-term success, sustained success. However, he understands that I have to do something different. I cannot compete in this division,
Yep.
let alone the NFC, but this division with coming back hoping on the health of Garoppolo. Listen, if we don't get number 3, another quarterback was needed. You guys seen what we look like without Garoppolo. You know what I mean? We need another quarterback because his injury history is just that bad. So, with that being said, if we're going to get a quarterback, then get the best of the best and possibly get your franchise now while you have an opportunity to do such. We probably won't be picking in the top 10 to 15 for years to come. So, he's getting the guy now. So, you know what? If he gets his guy now, if he knows who he wants, then let's ride with it and let's do it. That's how I feel. I love it.
Yep. I agree with you 100%. I just wanted to throw out there Cowboys, Seahawks, and Raiders are a bunch of losers. Anyway, we had a great show. I appreciate everybody watching and tuning in to the N.W.A. here on YouTube. Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, and hit the notification bell and let your friends and family know about our channel. Mike, great points. I'm glad you were able to you're able to unleash some of that stuff you unleashed from the beginning of the show. If you missed it, make sure you watch the replay because Mike was excited right off the get-go. And Eric, I appreciate your brother coming on here, man, and continue to be part of this podcast. You're awesome. Nate, in the comments, everyone watching, appreciate each and every one of you. Last comment, Eric, that you want to say to the viewers before we call it a night?
Yeah, just make sure you tune in on Mondays and Fridays, 7:15. Is it Pacific Standard Time?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm on Central, so it's a little different for me. And Mike is on the East Coast. So yeah, had a great show, guys. Thank you for joining us.
Awesome. All right, Mike, you want any last words you have for the viewers before we call it a night?
I would like to also add that Tampa Bay is a bunch of losers as well. So I agree with your comment. And thank you, fans, for tuning in with us. And I hope if it's up to me, I would love to see Garoppolo beat Brady in the NFC Championship and beat New England for Boston Hater, even though they're not going to get to the Super Bowl. I would personally like to beat Kansas City in the Super Bowl to redeem ourselves.
Right on. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it was a pleasure once again, having you guys on here. Have a wonderful night. Be blessed and continue to support this channel by sharing. Have a wonderful night. God bless. And we'll see you on our next podcast on Friday. Peace.